What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be going over a few hitting tips that'll hopefully help you hit a little bit better out on the diamond. I get asked this a lot in the stream, so I thought I'd throw this together and tell you some things that helped me when I first started playing this game and was struggling at the plate. So first off, I want to tell you about this just in case you didn't watch the pitching tutorial for Pinpoint. There is a mode at the main menu, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, called Custom Practice. It allows you to set up different practice types. You can do batting, pitching, team practice. You can do certain situations. When you do batting, you can actually set like four seam, slider, changeup, curveball, and you can do like all the low zones, all inside zones. So if you're struggling with like fastballs up and in, you can set just a fastball up and in, and you can just keep looking at that pitch over and over and over so that you get a good feeling for it. So I highly suggest you come in here and use this to practice different pitches for different pitchers because it is a great tool to use, period. Past that though, the first tip that I have is to find a view that you like. So when I first started playing this game, I, like many others, used this view. It's kind of like a standard view, a little bit of fisheye coming back. You can see the whole batter, all of that jazz. But I noticed that the more that I played, I found myself being behind on balls a little bit. I would be late a lot. So I wanted to try to rectify that. And to do that, I switched to a hitting view called Strike Zone High. So I suggest if you're struggling at the plate, if you're struggling at picking up the ball out of the pitcher's hand, if you're struggling with timing, I would switch to one of these: Strike Zone 2, 3, high, or offset. These zoom the camera in to your batter so that you can actually see the pitcher a lot clearer. You can see the ball come out of his hand a lot better, and you can pick up on the ball earlier so that you can begin your swing earlier. This helped me get my timing down a lot better and improve as a hitter right out the gate. Just switching to this view right here that you're looking at, Strike Zone High. I use high personally because for the other strike zones, sometimes I struggle with picking up a curveball and whether it's going to be in the zone or not. So Strike Zone High allows me to pick up the curveball's height a little bit better to see if it is a pitch that I want to swing at or not. So the second tip is to be patient. This is something that I still struggle with now. Patience at the plate means that sometimes if the ball is in the zone, it may not be the best ball to swing at. What if a slider is moving, down and away on you? It's in the zone. What if you're set up high and you can't get down to that slider? You may make contact with it, but it may be bad contact. It's okay to take pitches. You don't have to swing at every single strike that is thrown. Wait for your pitch. If you want that four-seam fastball, if you're waiting for that four-seam fastball, sit on that four-seam fastball. Wait for the pitcher to make a mistake. Don't try to force a hit. Be patient. Take strikes. Work counts. It also helps to get the starting pitcher out of the game because a lot of the time they're trotting out like one of their best pitchers. So if you can get them out of the game quicker, get their energy down, get their confidence down, do a little shelling on them, it'll just help you to get into the bullpen faster. And the faster you get in the bullpen, the better chance you have of winning the game. The third tip, and probably I would say the hardest tip for me when I was starting out, you have to find the release point for the pitcher. Don't stare at all of the motions and movements and everything that the pitcher is doing. Use your peripherals for that to get timing down.
It used to take forever to pull together presentations, but it always surprises me what we can create for.
But you have to find the release point and you have to just stare at that release point so that you can pick the ball up out of the pitcher's hand quicker. So what do I mean by that? So here we have a freeze frame of DeGrom where the ball is going to be released on the batter's eye from my hitter's view. That is the point on the batter's eye that I am going to be staring at for the rest of the time that DeGrom is in. The first few pitches of a game, I will find that spot and I will stare at it for every single pitch that is thrown at me. Again, I'll use my peripherals to see the motion to get timing, but I'm looking at that spot so that I can pick that ball up out of his hand immediately. This helped me not only get what pitch was coming at me, but also a location of where that pitch is going to be. Now, are you going to get fooled sometimes? Absolutely. You can't make great contact on every single pitch that's thrown at you. It's just not going to happen unless you're just an absolute freak at this game. But if you can at least make good contact on the ball, that's going to result in hits, runs, and just an overall better experience for you in the batter's box. So finding the ball at the release point and tracking it from there helps tremendously. You're going to want to stare at the pitcher a lot. I still sometimes do it too. My eyes will wander into the pitcher, doing all of his motions and everything, and I pick the ball up too late, and I am too late with my swing timing. But if you just beat this in for every bat, just find the release point, find the release point, find the release point, it's going to help you in the long run for your batting. Next up, cheat with your PCI placement. Do you struggle with high inside fastballs? Cheat your PCI up there. Sit the PCI up in the high end, wait for that fastball. As soon as you pick up that fastball, smash it out of the park. Cheat with your placement. Is a guy throwing a lot of sinkers inside, back into your hands? Cheat with your PCI placement. Inside, back on your hands. Punish them for their tendencies. And also, it helps to stay loose or to keep your thumb, ready to move. So if you're just sitting in the middle, you might have to have a little bit of a quicker motion, and you'll find yourself going like way down and under a ball, way up and on top of a ball, because you're slamming your stick instead of already having control of the stick to a position within your strike zone. So it helps that too. It helps to stay loose, and it helps you to make more micro adjustments towards the ball instead of just slamming the stick down, up, left, right, that sort of thing. So cheat with your PCI placement. It works wonders, and find whatever works for you. Sometimes I'm high and in, sometimes I'm high middle, and sometimes I sit just right below the center just to keep the stick loose, keep my thumb loose, and wait for a potential hanging breaking ball. The next tip, and I've been playing on it since this video started, is when you come into custom practice to practice, play on Hall of Fame. Get used to Hall of Fame speeds, get used to Hall of Fame break. Even if you struggle with it, even if you're late every time, just getting your eye accustomed to Hall of Fame will help you on every single other difficulty. Once you play on veteran, everything's going to be in slow motion. You'll be able to adjust to it pretty quickly. So come in, play on Hall of Fame, get used to Hall of Fame, and then when you're working back from Hall of Fame, everything will become easier. And then once you get up to Hall of Fame, you'll be ahead of the curve and ready to go and play into a Hall of Fame game if you get there within online. So practice Hall of Fame. Another thing is to practice struggle pitches. I struggle with DeGrom's changeup. So I'll come in and I'll set slider off, curveball off, two seam, and I'll just give a four seam and changeup, and I'll try to distinguish whether it's a fastball or a changeup coming out of the hand. And I'll do practice reps of just doing four seam versus a changeup constantly so that I can learn to pick up that pitch out of DeGrom's hand. Doing this will also translate to other pitchers as well. It'll help you pick up the difference between a four seam and a changeup out of a pitcher's hand more easily. Maybe you struggle with inside sinkers. We can just scoot over to Stroman real quick, turn on sinker, do all inside zones. Maybe you struggle with seeing it with a righty batter. Then all you have to do is just change over to a righty batter, and we'll do all inside zones. And we can go from there and practice seeing just a sinker on all inside zones. So here we go. They'll throw nothing but sinkers, and it'll all come on into the inside, into your hands, if this is what you struggle with. And just sit in here and practice it. Just continue to practice just a sinker, looking at it out of the pitcher's hand and trying to distinguish where it's going to be on an inside zone. Look at its break back into your hands. Look at everything. And practice just doing this pitch so that it can help you in the future against future pitchers that have sinkers and predominantly throw them inside. And finally, if you're playing online, study tendencies. Pitchers will get into a tendency of the pitches that they're throwing. A great example is a few days ago, I had a guy I was playing online who would pitch fastball, curveball. Every time, it was a fastball, curveball. He did that for the first 6 batters. And I got a hold of him a couple of times within those first 6 batters as well. But then on the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th batter, it was hit, home run, double, and he stopped doing it after that. Learn people's tendencies. People seem to always get into a set pitch sequence that they like to do. Most people will also have a certain strikeout pitch. Usually online, that's slider low and away, four-seam fastball in and high, and a sinker back into your hands. Those are probably the most common, I would say, strikeout pitches that are used online. So practice those. Wait to see if they are moving towards that tendency. Set up for it, prepare for it, and then adjust accordingly if another pitch is thrown. Sometimes a foul ball is just as good as a ball. It keeps the at-bat alive, and it gives you another chance to get that pitch that you're looking for and absolutely wreck it. So just to recap, find a view that works for you and one that you like. Zoomed ones, I think, personally help you be a better batter at the plate. So if you haven't yet, maybe try one of them out. Be patient, take pitches, look at strikes, wait for your ball. Find the release point, extremely important. Doing this and getting used to it, I promise will help you become a better hitter. Cheat with your PCI placement, practice on Hall of Fame, practice struggle pitches, and study tendencies. Now, are there more? Absolutely. There are a lot of mini or smaller tips that definitely will help. Getting a timing method's always good as well. But that's just with your internal clock and something that you will get the more that you hit within this game. If somebody watches this and they have other tips that you would like to give back to the community or people coming into the community, just leave them down in the comments. Go check the comments, see if there's any others that maybe I had missed. I thought these were the biggest ones for this game, though, and the biggest ones, especially for new players coming into MLB The Show, that's going to help you get better at hitting within MLB The Show. But that's it. That's all she wrote. That is the hitting tips that I have for you today. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like on the video or think about subscribing to the channel. More MLB The Show content, PGA Tour content here as well. Pretty much just sports in general content here at this channel. So if that's something that you're interested in, drop a sub. Turn on notifications. I'd greatly appreciate it. I also stream almost daily over at twitch.tv/RespawnTV. If you're interested in seeing the live side of things, you can hop on over there. Link will be in the description down below. Hope you have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world.